Hi guys, welcome back to Creative Frenzy. Alrighty, so we are back in the Tall magazine art journal for today, and I thought we'd have some fun with it. I wanted to do kind of a oil slick background. I have this Greek mythology book of Greek goddesses and gods and heroes and monsters, and I just thought I'd pick something out from here and create an art journal page. You don't always have to draw your own. You can just pick something from an old book. This is one that was from the library that they got rid of, so I thought I could use it for something like this. I love the colors in this, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to use. I'm just going to put some paper on the sides here. Let's see. Just to protect the ones underneath. I get the feeling this is going to take a little bit more paint. Excuse the coffee. Let me give it a sip. Oh, there we go. It's already halfway to being cold, so I probably won't be having any more of that. So let's see. Again, I did a bunch of pages with gesso, just plain white gesso. You could use white paint too if that's what you wanted, or you could just go over top. It just takes a bit more product that way. But we're going to just take out some water-soluble crayons. I'm going to pick some of my favorites because those are the ones that I use the most, that I really do enjoy playing with. For some reason, it's always these three colors. The brighter colors, it all depends, but these really work nicely as a background. So that's what I'm going to use. So you could use paint, of course. I mean, you could do whatever you want it, but I love using these water-soluble crayons. And you don't have to be very specific. But scribble, have fun. Kind of what I like about these, because this really is a children's art supply, literally. So it's kind of nice to just, pretend you're 5 years old again in kindergarten or grade 1 and just have at it. It's kind of the beauty of this. You could be very specific with this and, do sections and whatnot else. I don't really do that. Only because it's too limiting for my taste. So I might want to do some purple. Some lilac is actually quite pretty with this. You don't need much. I mean, you can go all out. But this just saves on brushes and whatnot else. And then all I do is get the good old baby wipes out. All I need is one. And this is going to be my paintbrush. Easy peasy. So you could do the dark areas first, and then work your way up to the lighter ones. And I save these afterwards because they'll dry out and then you can use them, reuse them however often you like. Just, wet it with some water. But I love this little bit of painterly effect with it. And there's no real brush strokes, which is kind of nice. So it creates really kind of a Monet effect. Like Monet water gardens, So that's what I kind of like about it. And it doesn't take too long to dry. I do want to darken up this area a little bit more. A light touch is all that's needed, really. It doesn't require too much. the effect I'm going for. Alright. Clean up some of that from my hands. I'm good to go. I'm just going to stick it in here and just set it aside. We might need that again later. I'm not sure. Alright. So this is more or less dry already. I'm just going to take some just plain acrylic paint, but it's warm white, which would be nice just to dab on. That's all we need to do. So again, we're going to take our baby wipe that we've already used. You could rinse it out if you didn't want to create more color over top. All we're going to do is just dab it on. So that when we go to add our glaze over top, it has this really neat effect of, you know, that oil slick look. I've done this before in another video with whatchamacallits, tags. It turned out really well and I enjoyed it, so I figured I'd try it here again. It's a different type of paper because it's magazine paper, so I'm not entirely sure if it'll hold up the same way, but we shall see. What the acrylic does is sort of create that barrier over top of the watercolor so that we're not going to take it all off when we go to put our glaze on. So all we're doing is layering basically. But you can see how this effect just really creates more depth and layers. So I've been enjoying creating in this Tulle art journal quite a bit. It's been a lot of fun so far. At first I wasn't too sure how it was going to turn out because, you know, we try to create on a scale that suits us, that will help us create more. It's not just about, you know, just creating for the sake of creating. I also want to create for the space that I have, if that makes sense. So we'll let that dry for a little bit and then we'll add our glaze. Now, my glaze, all I do is whatever paint I have left over, I put in these. You could use any container. You could water down acrylic and just use it that way. It's entirely up to you. But what I like about this is that I've already done a bunch of these ahead of time, so I can use it whenever. It just needs a good shake every now and then. But this is my glaze. Okay, now we are going to need some gold. All right. If I can get it open. There we go. So the gold, what it does is create yet another layer of, you know, over top of the acrylic and the water. The reason why I use the gold, you could use silver too, but the reason why I use the gold is because it has this really cool oil slick effect once we're done. You could use as little or as much as you like. It's not something that takes a whole lot, so, which is nice. So a little bit goes a long way. And I kind of do it this way so I'm not wasting any onto a palette. Again, no paintbrushes needed. But you can see how you can just create this painterly effect. And still no brush, right? This will not take long to dry, so we're going to just set it aside. Somehow, one way or another. Hold on. There we go. And then we're just going to get this Greek mythology book out. All right, let's see. So I love the pictures in this, and all it would require is some fussy cutting. Now, not all of it needs to be like the people itself. You can just choose part of it, kind of thing, and just create your own collage or whatever. But they're beautiful pictures. Who did the pictures of this? Oh, it's by National Geographic. Illustrations by Christina Ballett. I hope I said that right. But that's really cool. I kind of like this too. So you can just take certain little elements from the page. I like that. So we can do something like that. Let's see. Like some of these pictures are like, ooh, okay. And then others are really cool. I love these seahorses. Actually, I might just take that. That's really cool. It's got the colors in there at least, right? So we could do that. Or, let's see what else. That's cool too. Okay, so the other thing I like about the tall art journal is that you could do it portrait or landscape. So it really has this cool diversity that you can use in different ways, which is nice. Like that one too. Alright, we gotta pick something quickly. Come on. Ooh, the peacock is cool too. You know what? Let's do the peacock. I really do like that one. So I'm just gonna do, I know, sorry for those of you who are offended by this. But that is what I'm going to do. Oh, excuse the creaky chair. All right, so this has all the colors that I like for the page. Now, not always will I keep the leg on there. Sometimes it's just easier to cut through that and then worry about the rest later. Which is kind of cool. Sometimes fussy cutting can get a little too fussy for me, so it's like, we're just going to ignore that part. It'll be fine. That's okay. So basically what this art journal page will be is part collage. You know, I mean, it's mixed media, right? So you can use paper, you can use anything. But I like the idea of recycling a book that would normally have been either shredded or, you know, wrecked in other ways, and use the pictures in this application. Alright, so it has a nice little edge that I can apply, obviously, and then we can use this because this dark blue would work really nice with this also. Alright, I think what we're going to do is bring this back. It is more or less dry. I mean, it's still a bit tacky. You could take a tissue to it. Just sort of, sorry, my chair is so creaky today. It's dry as anything in here. Alright, there we go. So it's still a little bit damp, but that's okay. You could use the dryer on this if you wanted to. Alright. Now we are using, so I could use the blue if I want it, but I'm going to use this green. And then we will use that. I'm going to cover up my paint before I forget. and dry it out. Alright, so all I'm going to do is pour some in here. This is just some dried paint. See how liquidy that is? You could use watercolors too, but I love this. I think this is the green. I'm trying to remember what the color, the name of it is. I don't remember. Maybe something a bit cleaner would look better. I'm just going to go in and remove some of that. And that'll just create a little bit more contrast. And because the paper is magazine paper, it's wrinkled, right? It's fairly thin. It'll create more interest in the background too. So that's kind of cool. Again, you don't have to do the wash if it doesn't suit you. Or you could just use the wash, that's okay too. There we go. And all I'll do is I'll cut it right along here so that it's not going to get caught when I go to create the fold. So this is here. That's what I'm going to do. I know it's very specific, isn't it? Wet glue is your best friend in this case, because otherwise it will not stick, because the paint is still wet. Did you know that peacocks make great watchdogs? People used to use them all the time in their gardens back in the day, on farms and things like that, as guard dogs, guard birds. But yeah, they're very territorial, so, and they're very loud, and they'll let you know if somebody is trespassing. So what I'm going to do is attach it this way. There we go. If that's loose, it's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about it at this point. So now we're going to take our blue. I'm not going to worry too much about the stars. Just going to have a pretty moon. I like circles, so I think we'll be... This one looks like a blueberry now. It's actually kind of funny. One more, I think. these colors onto the green really makes it stand out nicely. If you didn't want to cut circles, you could absolutely punch them from the paper itself. Depending what size you have, you can, scale it any which way you like, which is kind of cool. So if you have a bunch of different sizes of circle punches, this is a great way to use them, if you can get them back out. Come on, there we go. Sometimes they need to be sharpened and then they'll work better, but alright, we'll just punch a bunch of them. The problem is I can't see, so I don't want to waste the paper. We will rearrange that. Oops, sorry. There we go. Alrighty. That one. Not always will I keep it the way it is. Sometimes it's just better if you cut that piece off. It just looks more visually pleasing to my eye. Actually, I really like that. That looks really cool. Now it's just a question of gluing it all down. Because this paper is thicker than tissue paper, wet glue, again, would be better. Come back in and press everything down. After. So basically, to me, this now looks like a painting, really, because of the painterly background and then the collaged paper over top, which is kind of cool. Oops. Gluey fingers. There we go. I think that's all of them. And I'm just going to make sure everything's actually down properly. Alright, that looks really cool. I like that. Now, it does not have legs. Does it need legs? I don't know. Probably not. You could draw some on there if you really wanted to. But he's floating. It's okay. He's a celestial peacock. Why not? close enough. Let's see. Does it need something? It probably doesn't. It could stand on its own this way. Leave a little sparkle wherever you go. And that's actually kind of cool. Right there. And I will show you close up. There we go. I will show that to you. So when you see the background, it really has this cool, almost oil slick effect. It would probably work better on a darker background, but it still has a pretty cool effect. So yeah, some book pages, some paint, easy peasy. No paintbrush needed actually, so it's pretty cool, right? I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!